So in we go. Recording started. And we are live. Hey everyone, welcome back to Jaraci Cup 9. Continuing our coverage of the group stage, we move to rsabo M.E.S versus Cookies. Gonna be a fun match here. Coalition versus Conf, always a pretty fun matchup to see. I am hoping to see some blast run shenanigans, because I need more of that in my life. You should note, by the way, I was doing some patch testing of A-Game today, and AV versus BD is fixed, but in this version of the patch, for some reason, AVs couldn't hit them, so I don't know if that's going to be abused at all, but there was sort of a weird sort of vulnerability where AVs would not really work against blast drones, so kind of an interesting little quirk there, but I don't think Cookies is going to abuse it, seeing as he's in fact retired that base runner. Skimmer Fab on the way now. Interested to see what he goes for then. Back to RM. Pfft, what a choke, dude. Well, yeah. I'm sure you'll be there when I cast your games live, eh? Always nice to see you, though, Houston. Have a good one. But the map is going to be Kartoba here. rsabo playing in the Coalition. He has second pick, so Cookies picking Conef first for this game 1. And Cookies picks the map as well. This is a good map for like Rail Rush, kind of aggro strats like that, because you have this sort of high ground that you can play around. Although it's a little bit more difficult than I used to think. Like, when I first saw this map, I was like, oh, this would be such a good Rail Rush map. And now I'm not so sure, because there is like a clear objective for the defending player to capture, which is this dune, and once they do, it feels like the rush is over. But, theory crafting aside, Cookies does have that Sand Skimmer Fab. He's moving out across the field and building some, so we'll see if he picks a tech choice up here pretty quick. I think he started 2 on RUs, if I'm not mistaken, so he actually has got the money for Rail Fab right now if he does a quick drop, so we'll see what his plan is. But as for rsabo, it's going to be carrier production upgrade coming out, but then AV Fab, which is something I generally am not a huge fan of, because I feel like on one base you can't produce AVs like double at a time, right? But we'll see. Perhaps he has an idea in mind here, but the probe is going to get a bit of info for him. Catches sight of this PC here, going to take some fire. It does go down there. It's a bit unfortunate for him, but he sees the relevant info, which is, okay, PC is across the field. AV Fab is done for him now, so he's going to want to, like, if you're playing it this way, I would cancel carry production, well, now that I think about it, I guess I would leave this on. But at any rate, I would build AVs and try and pressure really, really hard at the beginning here, because at the moment, your opponent has only Sand Skimmers, and AVs obviously are going to win in that trade. You want to keep the LEVs alive, because they can actually be a big deal in the defense here. Carrier has pretty decent point defense as well, so he's going to ward off the skims for now, give him some time to build a couple AVs. Here's the first one, and now he wants to push out pretty aggressively and try and get some ground here. If that probe lived, that'd be really big, because now you come over here and check the carrier. See that thing there is the rail module, so you know, okay, it's rail tech, spam LEVs. That's kind of what I would do here. But at any rate, he wants to be a bit aggressive right now. He is pushing on the skims, so he's doing this properly. Always happy to see that. I would actually rotate the carrier too, but it's a little bit less important. But he sees the first assault rail in the field now. There's smoke. Just try and buy some time there. These LEVs trying to come out on the low ground, make kind of a swing around, but this feels a bit risky. I feel like they're going to get picked off. Yeah, the assault rail turns his eyes onto them, so down go 2 LEVs for free. It's a little bit rough. Second smoke deployed as well here, just again trying to buy time here as he stacks up a couple units. But I would be building LAVs at this point, because I feel like they're going to do much better against these assault rails. But that being said, AVs are not, you know, insta-lose against assault rails either. Looks like Carrier going to start moving out now. And he sends these guys out to his opponent's side of the map. That's a little bit interesting to see too, but this can work. If you think you have enough defense at home, you know, you can slide over here, do some big eco damage, and kind of cut the legs out of the rush while it's, you know, still getting started. So I kind of like the idea here. Cookies, though, going for a second PC rather than getting heavy rails. I would actually do that. Just that you have some kind of free pressure on these AAVs here. But they've already used their smoke, right? So these assault rails going to get the better of them for now. He wants to use this dune, get over here and get a bit of cover. But right now it looks like he's out of range. Smoke deployed, though, again, just to buy a little bit of time here. Starting to think maybe this is a mistake to use him so liberally, but he is building LAVs now, which is what he needs, and probably the assault pack is the relevant tech here. I hear a missile firing, so yeah, he does know something's going on there. And he'll see there's AVs up in his face in a moment here. Uh-oh! Starts pushing with the LAVs, but not the rest of the army, so he's going to get damage on this assault rail, but it's Galzine, of course, so let's heal this back up if he doesn't finish the kill, but he does. Okay, that's really big then. Catches 1 AR. And the AVs with high ground have range on the other one, and these guys here are denying the second base wonderfully well. Oh wow, this turned around all of a sudden. Oh wait, shoot, the assault rails is barely out of range here. That's the kind of speed boost, I guess, coming into play. No, it's not, because he doesn't have that powered up. Oh, that's really too bad. Because that right there is probably the game if he gets that that assault rail killed. Because now he's going to be on top of the PC and just kill everything, you know, at his leisure. I would still be building LAVs right now if I were him, but there are heavy rails on the queue. I saw that briefly. But this is very, very good for rsabo here, as he denies that second base. And really a smart play, too. I'm very happy to see this. And look at this dune, too. This is really favorable for the AVs, actually. I don't know if he realizes, but if he hides right there, he's actually in cover. Yeah, he seems to see it. There's a smoke to buy a little bit of time. And yeah, now he's behind the dune. And he's going to force that PC back. Oh, but the AV's actually going to try and come up here and like fight against the carrier. I really don't like this move because I feel like you give up a lot of the pressure you had by the units being there by driving them in. I feel like the threat of those AVs coming in was more valuable than them actually coming in at all, right? Ref mode, by the way, on the queue though for Cookie, so it looks like he definitely wants to back away. And I saw him building a heavy railgun, but it looks like he canceled it. A-game saying something about math in the chat there. Well, I guess he was watching the replays of the patch testing games we did. I'll get to that in a moment, though. Maybe after this stream is done, I'll talk to him about it. For now, though, it is LAVs being built. I like this. Obviously, Cookie's plan is... Oh, you just took all the costs, tech costs. Well, Cookie's plan is to go back to Eco right now. And I think that's not a bad idea, because obviously it seems like the rush has stalled out here. He's actually got Dart Maneuver, I didn't notice that. But he didn't use that when he was kiting the AV, so I'm not sure. But at any rate, you know, what Cookies wants to do is just say, okay, rush didn't work, that's fine, I can go up down to 3 base now. So it's actually rsabo with the obligation to push here. Let's see if he catches wind of this, though. He does move out across with these AVs, but there are rails out there, so I feel like those guys are a tad vulnerable, actually, not really supported by any LAVs here. He does have a Assault Pack on the way, which is what I think he really needs. But this is a very, very ambitious kind of eco play here by Cookies. And rsabo really wants to take advantage of this. Cruise Missile lands there. I like the base runner smoke just by a little bit of time here. He wants to actually try and cover the salves with it, so not quite moving in the right direction there, but right now though, rsabo is getting some damage here, manages to kill a salvager. If he can get this second one too, that'd be kind of big, but I mean, obviously these AVs are gonna die, right? If the LAVs were out there as well, like, because right now they could just be ravaging this main base, right? I think he really wants, like, he doesn't realize that he's got the aggressive position on the field here. I feel like he's going for a little backstab, but playing defensively, but right now he actually wants to push. Kind of a weird stutter step there as well. He must have just given, like, an attack order, so once that one skim died, he stopped moving. Assault Chip Fab now on the queue, by the way, for Cookies. I guess it was a response to seeing all these LAVs here. But I wouldn't do that. I think Assault Rail Skim is going to be maybe better than trying to tech switch here. And he does think the same as well, so he cancels it. Plus, that gives you options for Honor Guards, which are going to be a really powerful unit as well. Although, of course, we know he's playing Con F Siege, good unit, but yeah, I feel like that would be a bit of a mistake right now. And rsabo taking carrier power, that's a little bit of an odd move there. I think what he wants to do is build LAVs and build eco on the back, right? Power, again, it seems like a defensive move, but this is going to be pretty good for rsabo, I think, here. Kills the south pretty immediately, but he's actually got access to these assault rails. That's what he really wants, I think. Fighting into the carrier, though, quite risky. Ooh, he's taking a lot of damage to the splash from the missiles. Oh, dear. I mean, he will catch all these assault rails, right? Unless he stops shooting at them, of course, but he's going to lose the whole AV blob for it. I feel like his window, where honestly I would have said he was very ahead a couple minutes ago, it feels like it's gone away. This is what I was a bit worried about when I saw Cookies going back onto eco, is I didn't think rsabo was gonna recognize quite his push obligation and like capitalize on it. He's just kind of run in and died with his army twice now. I think that old moniker that things are sometimes more valuable as a threat than as a reality is definitely holding true in this game. One AV again moving across the field here. Not gonna do too much though, and this is assault rail to capitalize, but like these skims could have killed it on their own, so looks like he will lose one, to be fair. Down goes this AV. Again, no armor upgrades either, right? Yeah. And Honor Guard tech done for Cookies now. Now rsabo has expanded, like I said I wanted to see him do, so that's good for him, but he's still on two base versus 3 here. Army advantage definitely goes to Cookies too, so it feels to me he's kind of got everything going his way. He's even got the tech going his way too. We could see rsabo switch into something like air here, but I don't know. It was looking a little rough. Looking a little rough for our boy, I guess I'll say. Oh my gosh, I'm getting invited to games on Steam. I should really like find a way to turn off all the notifications while while I'm streaming, but whatever. Oh, if the depth pack opened the wreck there, that would have been like the ultimate BM. I like the attempt though. Actually, maybe I don't, because it does cost money to try that. But actually, what is the money looking like? Friends, do not disturb. Oh my gosh. You're a genius. Thank you. Anyway. Sorry, just handling some of that right now. We do have BDs coming out here as well, by the way. I should have mentioned this before, but Cookies is going for some really aggressive artifact extraction here. And I love this move too. I mean, when you're ahead, you know, when you're ahead, what you want to do is capitalize on the lead, right? And this is, I think, how you do it. Getting these artifacts out, and then pushing on the field once you feel like your army is more powerful. Which it definitely is right now, he just needs to recognize it. But if this BD gets a juicy hit here, which, you know I like blast drones, eh? That would be a big deal too. I mean, I feel like you can only lose your whole army so many times before you really just lose the game, right? Maybe that goes without saying, but Cookies here actually at a bit of a float as well. He needs to continue macroing and keep building units here, because he's definitely got the money for it. But it looks like he's more focused on this fight. You can't blame him too much for that. First BD comes in, gets kind of a glancing blow, but it looks like the assault rails were doing fine on their own anyway. These are actually... oh, these are heavy rails. They're mixed, I guess. Second BD, I guess, went down kind of for nothing there. The AVs are actually kind of in range for now, but there's a lot of damage on the field here. They've already used their smoke, so they're going to go down. Another little wing of LAVs coming out for rsabo, but now this time we do have that honor guard on the field. And if you don't know about honor guards, man, look at this freaking thing. It just looks incredible, doesn't it? But it's like this giant AoE railgun, so pretty good against lots of small units. It's kind of its MO. Yeah, just like that. See that? Huge damage on all of these LAVs here. These guys don't re-heal, by the way, unless they go back to base. He's still going to jump up and catch the assault rail, though. It's a bit of damage on the heavy as well. Focus fire is actually there for rsabo, but he doesn't have the upgrade lead. Oh wait, no, it looks like they're actually even on that. So, but having the damage from that honor guard on it, he can't quite fight these skims here, so... okay, actually trade there in the end, because he does manage to get that railgun. And again, Cookies is really not macroing off the back of it. Look, he's got a really big float. He should have like 14 more skims on the field, you could think of it that way. Although I guess he'd have a big RU float in that case, but he does have the better army, I'd say for sure, and it's mostly about this big bad boy. Gets another chunky hit there, kills 2 more LAVs. It just almost looks too easy. Honor Guard's really good unit. You should definitely be building these if you get the window when you go for like rail openers. Carrier move out now by rsabo seems a little desperado to me. He's actually teching BC fab too, so you know how that goes. Is he building an SC? No, so I guess he's just gonna leave his main base eco. Oh boy, he's gonna bring everything. He's F2 Quicken, man. if you played StarCraft 2. Although F2 actually works in DOK as well, but... he's bringing the carrier also, though, and I don't know if he's even got money to build... oh, he's got a lot of money, actually. Okay, so he's gonna go for kind of the last-ditch attempt to BC drop on his opponent. In a way, I kind of don't hate this, because he can tell he's behind. He can tell he's not winning this. He kind of wants to just make one last dramatic play for the end here. BC's on the queue now. I think he only had money for one, though. And in the meantime, he's actually getting a bit of eco damage as well, so this is kind of okay. The thing is, maybe it's not worth it, though, because if you're going for an all-in like this, you really want to keep your army to, you know, to fight that all-in, right? Rather than, you know, damaging the eco, which is more of like a long-term effect. 2 more artifacts come out, though, by the way, and power 3 on the way, too, so Cookie's carrier is very powered up here. This is going to be a long shot if rsabo can pull this off, but he wants to try it anyway, and I respect the attempt. Taking rail fab seems a little out of touch, though, because I mean, what are you going to build it with? You ain't got no money left, but... he's actually retiring salvagers, too. I don't know if you noticed this. He could have left that SC back at home and had a bit of eco off the back of this, but... But yeah, I would definitely cancel that. Just get one more carrier power if you can. I think he would have the money for it. First contact here, carrier seen. But Cookie's a lot of power in that kind of carrier, like I said. He's going to start dumping the missiles. Oh gosh. It's good damage. That support cruiser nearly killed in one volley. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. I thought he hadn't built... He's got the second carrier production upgrade. I thought he only had one. So I saw 2 SCs pop out. I was like, he didn't even build any BCs. What's the idea with this? Okay, but he's trying for it. Like I said, I really actually like this idea, but I don't think it's gonna work. But Cookie's giving it a lot of respect here. He's backing up. He knows he's got that game-winning artifact here. If he can just get this out. BCs are faster than base runners, but he's got a lot to get through. There's heavy rails up on this high ground. Honor guard is there too. And I think that for rsabo, he really kind of has got to just go for the... Really kind of has got to go for the kill here, rather than try and stop that artifact. But it's only 1 BC. Yeah, there's just too many rails here. Honor guards, of course, not really designed to target, you know, one big unit, but they can still do quite a lot of damage against it. As you can see, as he attacks the support cruiser, kind of illustrates what I mean. Definitely less DPS than the equivalent, you know, money numbers of railguns, but it sure hurts. Well, yeah, you know, they're designed to target like this, right? Big bunches of smaller units, but they still do pretty meaningful damage against single large targets, right? That's what makes them so good, I think. Yeah, yeah. Oh, BC. Oh no, that's exactly what they do. But yeah, looks like the game plan unfortunately is kind of falling apart for rsabo. I actually like Cookies being really respectful of the carrier push there. Although I'll point out again, you can actually check the carrier health if you know the base health value of the coalition carrier and like see how many increments of 200 it's gained. But still, he gives a lot of respect because he knows. In fact, look, he got the carrier kill, he still won on artifacts. He knows I've got this game-winning artifact. That's my win condition. I don't need to risk fighting this. I can just win by default. So I think that was actually really definitely the right move by Cookies there. Although keeping the power in the missiles I think would have been better because those things have a huge damage output. But well played, kept this cool. Rail Rush didn't work, but he definitely he made a bold play to transition back up onto 3 base, and it definitely worked out for him. So well played to Cookies. Check game 2 out here then. It's going to be on Tauren Crater. The new one, of course. I hope, anyway. I actually don't know that. I'm hoping so. rsabo has the pick first this time. He's going to take Soban instead of Coalition. But Cookie's going to match him, so we're going to have an SVS this time. And rsabo picking Tauren Crater Alt as the map here. Very big map, long rush distance, as you can see. This actually used to be one of the best early aggro maps in the game, back before the custom layout was made. This is where you spawn here and here, of course. Just because, like look at this dune, for example, is a very good example. Example. By the way, look how reflective it is. Like, something about that always kind of put me off. Anyway, if you get, like, assault ships, say, or doing, like, a GVC, right? Although AVs can do this too, clearly. They can hide right behind this dune. They want to be close-range units. They have the best DPS in close range. Railguns can't easily weed them out. They have to kind of go wide around this angle. And if you ever leave this undefended, you know, you just drive over the hill, boop, 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 boop. Down goes the eco, which is, like, right there. Not to mention, you know, this dune here, not very helpful either in that regard. And there's thoughts to coming around on the other side, too, although it's a little bit more difficult, because this is open ground here. But that means it's also a map that you can rail rush on, you know, and that is where the second base used to be, so... Yeah, it used to be one of the most aggressive maps in the game. Just a simple layout change, though, and I feel like this is definitely kind of one of the macro maps now. 5 million views, dang. He's got an idle salvager here, doesn't he? Uh-oh. Well, you know, that happens to the best of us. By which I mean me. But it looks like it's going to be SC first here by rsabo. Oops, I didn't put a control group on his carrier. Like I said, very macro map here. He does actually start LAV fab after sending the probe out, but that's alright. Like I said, very long rush distance map. He's not going to get punished for that small mistake there. SC is out, drives his carry out onto that second base here. Cookies, meanwhile, going for LAV fab instead. He has caught the idol, which is nice. He's got 3 LDMs here, which is pretty interesting. But no sign of a support cruiser yet for Cookies. So, interested to see what kind of build he's going for here. He does have that production upgrade done. So I suppose that's got to be the idea, but he's not building yet. It goes into an SC. I'm not sure I like this, because he's got the production upgrade now to where he can build a salvager too, but he's got an LEV fab, right? You're not building LEVs, so I don't really know what the idea with this build is. You know, I'm a big hater of builds that I feel like are inefficient that way, but oh my gosh, Indigo. Stop inviting me to games. If I didn't come before, I'm not gonna come now. I'm casted, boy. I should just give him a stream link. Hold up, 1 second. I gotta do this. It'll be funny. Anyway, there comes the SC though. So Cookies is going to be on 2 base here, but you know, notably slower than his opponent. Actually, his opponent, getting that production upgrade now, is going to be slower, I think, on the 2 base because he didn't build the. Well, he didn't retire his base printer too. I actually only just noticed this, but he didn't build any. He didn't build the salvagers fast. He got a couple LAVs first instead. So definitely with the stronger build, but choosing to take this a little bit slower macro-wise. Does have that artifact in tow though, so that's what he wants to get out of it. But now it almost looks as though Cookies has the bigger army on the field too. So I feel like rsabo started with a much better build, but somehow got behind, which is a little bit strange. I don't really exactly know how to explain that. This is 5 LAVs now versus 2. You know, you would expect him to win that fight. Obviously, he does have the base runner in tow, which means that's targeting jammer that can be deployed, but it's going to be hard to win 5 versus 2 just using that targeting jammer. So to that end, he has a couple more guys coming. It's going to be fighter and gunship on the way for him, but Cookie's on the draw faster, actually. And as he's saying in chat, he does actually have his 3rd base started as well. He's building that SC. Oh, but he came back with the LAVs here. Uh-oh. No, I'm actually not sure why he came back, because he's going to get the kills there on rsabo's LAVs, but I feel like he lets him extract now, although he's kind of going the wrong way. Uh-oh. You just want to click on that extraction zone. I feel like this is a window to get in there. Anyway, as to the topic about like the build order that we're seeing here, it's 100% going to be the wrong order if you start with LAV fab and then build an SC. Like, that's kind of undebatable. You always get slowed down by that. I think like you're just a tad lucky that like rsabo is kind of building in a weird way here. That's not to say that like if you do that you're guaranteed gonna lose, but it's 100% slower. So that's not how you do greed, right? But it's gonna work out this time, it looks like, because you are indeed up to 3 base quite a lot faster. And both players having fighter and gunship tech now, they really want to. Well, they're not building any fighters yet, but they really want to. They really want to begin fighter production as fast as they can, which means kind of the window for building more macro is a little bit closed here. Although they're both being a little bit slow about this too, because like I said, they have the tech done. And in fact, it's actually rsabo building some strike fighters first here. But that's the thing though, right, is that now he's got to start investing into the air. And as well, he starts AAV tech, which is a little bit interesting. But Cookies has the... Oh shoot, he turned off the resource controller. That's a really... That's a feels bad, man. We'll see if he ends up catching this. This is a very annoying thing that happens sometimes. But if rsabo is building air, he can't be building more macro, right? And so Cookies has the lead. He's not really going to lose it here. He is building a gunship as well. I'm not really sure what the gunship is for from both these players. I guess there are a lot of LAVs, but... It's a lot safer to go for strike fighters, because if your opponent goes for strike fighters and you have the gunship only, you're gonna want for strike fighters. Oh, and he does catch it. That's good. Okay. If you didn't know, if you press C, it turns on and off the resource controller, which means that salves can't drop off on the sport cruiser. So, but this is definitely a mistake by rsabo, a really big one as well. He takes one strike fighter and launches it out here just to kind of hit some salvagers. And it's not gonna get kills. In fact, it may just die to LAVs right now. Uh-oh. But not only that, this is really big for Cookies because it tells him exactly what the tech is. Like, oh, look at that, he's got air. And actually a gunship launching as well now from rsabo, but again, it's actually launching to kill one LAV. That's kind of interesting. But, you know, you reveal the air tech so fast here. Yeah, and this is exactly what will happen. Cookies just starts building strike fighters, and he is going to be just fine, because if it's only a gunship left, you know... Not gonna be good times, right? Obviously, strike fighters have anti-air, gunships don't, so... I would agree with that A-game. I would agree. By the way, extraction does come out, it looks like, in the end, finally, for rsabo. He's gonna get this one out. Gunship is out, like I said. Starts hitting on some salvagers, not the romantic way, as I always say. We do actually have strike fighters done here, so Cookies could choose to launch himself here. He is going to reveal the gunship now as he starts harassing the LAV blob, and actually going to get big damage there, I suspect. And good splitting too, he doesn't lose a single salvager on the main base. But there will be strike fighters to follow up, so he needs to launch right now. I feel like this is, he's taking a little bit too much time here. But he is definitely getting big value over here on the other side. Wow, he's going full wing. This is crazy. This is a lot of strike fighters. Although again, right, rsabo has to build air. He can't build eco right now. So this is kind of actually... Oh, anti-air turret post setup. This is probably a dead gunship here. But I mean, that's alright. He killed the whole LAV blob. He's probably okay with this. In fact, the veterancy goes to the base runner, which is pretty nice. But, you know, rsabo kind of is locked onto 2 base, and Cookies has 3. And this is, I think, how you capitalize on this, is you go full wing, kind of. You know, I mean, honestly, this looks a little smart. Takes a nice trade here, gets 1 strike fighter for none, despite being under an anti-air turret post. That was a pretty good micro there that he pulled off. And yeah, he's got a lot of these things, so I feel like he's definitely in the lead right now. Starts taking AV now, which I feel like is much better. rsabo does need missile batteries now, but I feel like he teched AV way too fast there. Carrier protection upgrade coming out for rsabo as well, but again, he's only on 2 base. I don't know if he really needs this. That's something I've seen in his games in general. He tends to be a little bit fast to tech to carry protection upgrade. And triple base runner being produced by Cookies as well. Again, smart move, because now he's ready to, well, I mean, triple extract, obviously, but just get a lot of pressure, basically. Convert this lead that he's got, in like tech-wise, into a real, you know, noticeable lead in terms of, you know, approaching the endgame objectives. So I think this is a really smart play by Cookies. I actually wouldn't let the strike fighters waste a missile here. Yeah, he's not going to do the same either. This base runner seems free to me. He thinks so as well. 2 volleys, going to take that thing out real quick, and then he probably needs to dock. I think he's out of missiles on the strike fighters, but yeah, they seem to agree. They'll auto-dock when they run out of missiles like that. And yes, A-game is right. I mean, Cookies is definitely, I'd say he's approaching top tier at this point already. Although it's hard to say, because like in TOK, top tier is like 5 players, you know what I mean? So, but you get what I mean. This is just a smart call in terms of what units he's building, right? And it almost makes it look too easy. He's got what he needs, he just wins, right? And, you know, that's how you want to play it. So, Sport Cruiser anti-air now coming out from rsabo, really investing into those anti-air. He wants many different sources of it. You can see another Sport Cruiser produced here, moving out to that 3rd base. Don't know if he really needs this, to be honest with you, because he already has the missile batteries, and I feel like having that is maybe... enough. But he is going to get that tech, so we'll see what he's able to do with it. He is building salvagers, alright, so he's prepping that 3rd base here. Doesn't have them rallied yet, but yeah, he will take care of that in a moment. A-game's having trouble with Rail Rush. A-game's always trying to change patch up a little bit and try and make it... I feel like it's very balanced right now, but he wants to make it more fun as well, is what I think he's been saying. So today we were testing some Rail Rush. He made like a change to Gaussian rails and their accuracy against like small targets. And now he's tearing his hair out, I guess. But I'm sure he'll figure it out. He's a smart guy. Oh, shoot, look at this. Actually, Sport Cruiser anti-air being teched by Cookies as well. I didn't see that until literally just now. Those 3 base runners that I talked about before, rather than getting artifacts, which they really should do. This is a good window to pick up artifacts and, you know, bring them out. But he's made 3 anti-air turret posts in a really nice kind of screen position here. So I feel like chances of air doing damage to either of these players is starting to go down a little bit. You know? They've both invested pretty freaking hard into anti-air. And again, another really nice trade. I don't know exactly what... Maybe, like, rsabo just sort of over-microed or something like that. But Cookies just got, like, a 2-for-nothing trade there, so really, really nice. Gunship gonna try and foray in here to hit the base, but there is anti-air of various sorts, so he is gonna go down. Strike Fighter's trying to get involved too, though. This is maybe a bit of a mistake, though. He's gonna take 1 shot to the missile battery, loses 1 Strike Fighter already. But that being said, the missile battery's dead now. There's only 2 Strike Fighters left here for rsabo and SCAA, which is not the most powerful, as we know. Still, though, he is accruing losses the longer he stays here. 2 salvagers killed, though, but as the dust settles, he does lose, I think, 5 Strike Fighters off the back of that one. But rsabo here, chasing a little too far, I suspect. In fact, I don't even know if he has missiles left. Yeah, he's gonna dock. Okay, that's really good, because he was about to come over the cliff and just get totally wrecked by these anti-air turret post there. I could see it coming, but there was nothing I could do, but he did pull off in the end, so that's good. Last SC, I think, what am I saying here? Well, he unlocks his carrier. I don't know why I'm saying last sport cruiser. But he gets that third sport cruiser, he does unlock his carrier here, he's gonna start moving it out across the field, power reserves teching. Again though, base runners getting artifacts out would be really big here, and he's got so many LAVs on the field, he definitely has the strike fighter superiority. You know, I say that actually, rsabo has got the same number now. Assault cruiser anti-air though, it's my favorite tech. Not to mention again, base runners have anti-air, LAVs have anti-air. I feel like he can move out across the field. He can try and take advantage of this and get these extracts out, and I really think he should too. Because that Saban carrier, when it gets powered up, it is a real terror, right? Not to mention the pressure that you get for having 3 artifacts out, right? It's 2 more and you win, so your opponent has to come out and match you. So I really loved what he was doing before. It feels like he definitely knows what units he needs to build, but he's being a little bit slow here, letting his opponent get a lot of time to get sort of back on his feet. Right? rsabo is on 3 base. He didn't replace these salvagers though, so he is kind of suffering for that. And interestingly, the support cruiser is not healing them either. I don't know. Don't know exactly why he's not healing them there. But rsabo going to try to move out across the field now. Gunship here, laying in some fire on the LAVs, so I imagine that the strike fighters are coming for cookies. Now rsabo wants to bring his strike fighters to screen, but doesn't quite manage it. Down goes the gunship. Support craft? I don't think a gunship is a support. Oh well. Here comes the strike fighter fight then, and it's just total chaos as you can see. I don't know who came out on top. Oh boy, it was cookies in a big way. It was like 3-1. Wow. I don't know who makes, like, what makes you win in that kind of fight, though. I'm always unsure about, like, who actually wins when air engages on air like that, so kind of interesting to see. When these guys could actually get killed by this, like, singular LAV, which is a little sad. But the gunship comes in, that missile battery is dead, so he feels he's free to attack here. And again, rsabo actually going for the attack now. This, like, last time I liked this because it felt like it's what he needed to do to get back in the game. But this time, to me, it feels just a little bit insane, right? Like, do you know what state the game is in? You can't be making, like, a carrier power play right now. Although, to be fair, again, Cookies, no extractions on these base runners, so he can't really make a power play either, just a brick play? I don't know what you call this. But he is marching in, and he's got a lot of assault cruisers, too, which is a big tech. We do have Railgun Fab just now finishing for rsabo, and we know Saban Rails, very powerful units. But this is gonna be a little bit difficult for rsabo. I mean, I say a little bit difficult. He's probably dead here. I mean, this is in fact, look at that. He's pulling off the main base really early too. But it's 5 assault cruisers here to nothing really. He's just finished rail tech, and he's got a lot of strike fighters. And these guys have anti-air, and the base runners do as well. So the amount of I like the triple probe too. The amount of anti-air that Cookies has in this force here is like huge. Teching out attack bombers as well, just because why not? I actually like that though. That seems like a good call. And the Saban carrier, somewhat decently powered, can put some damage on these assault cruisers, but just how much is the question. Here come the strike fighters now. Like I said, there's a lot of anti-air here. It's chaos, I don't even know what to say. But the carrier, as you can see, taking a huge amount of damage, eating these tac missile barrages from the assault cruisers, and it will go down. But oh my gosh. I think all of those strike fighters were dead by the end. Yeah, I mean, the alpha strike DPS of these assault cruisers is huge, you know what I mean? It's like running into 6 battle cruisers in a way. And that fire isn't sustained, right? But I mean, if it's enough to one-shot you, you know, you die anyway, so... how do you solve having only burst damage? Just get more. And it works for Cookies, definitely, I think... Oh my gosh, he's got more coming in on the flank. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely evident at the end of the match just how dominant he is eco-wise here. rsabo just melts away. And Cookies takes the series 2-0. Very nice victory for him. And I feel like his choice of what unit to build is just very on track, you know what I mean? So, very nice play by Cookies. And rsabo not too bad either, but definitely a couple things to work on.